started here, Austin. Okay, that's really good. So you have a little bit of insight on it. You know where you're going. You have specific questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Just make sure I'm
2 seconds. Can I have just my first take? Your first two questions.
Oh, basically,
guys, you're standing right
as far as like what is the movie? Well, I guess first off, what San Antonio wise, how is it?
Okay, I got you. No.
I just want to make sure it's on. Okay. You good? Hey, who are we interviewing? You?
So, out here, Occupy San Antonio, how has it progressed and how did it start up?
San Antonio definitely stands in solidarity with the rest of the United States. Mainly, we all branch off of New York, Wall Street. This movement started on Wall Street for a reason. The tie between Wall Street and Washington is rather ridiculous. It's gotten out of hand. We stand out here because we believe, we use the term 1%, talking about the very, very, very top corporations, and their tie, whether it be the lobbyists or now that we can pour as much money we want to in elections, is not quite fair. And we, the people, will not have our voice if we don't have enough money to support that voice. We don't have enough money to support and send ourselves to school and pay for our health care. With those costs rising every year, your tuition costs raising close to 10% this year, healthcare costs going up, and be it harder to get your Medicare or your Medicaid. We stand out here to spread awareness. We want to ask what San Antonio came and spread off of that to stand in solidarity, but the awareness comes from a local level. I personally didn't travel to New York yet or go up to Austin just to be a part of a bigger crowd because I believe that it is our job and I have a strong passion for what is going on. And I believe that we should be able to spread that here locally. If I have 2 or 3 hours to vote after I get off of work, working my 10-hour days, I come out here and I contribute. I look at this like a political campaign, except for it's really not. We're just spreading awareness about issues. You talk to a politician, they'll tell you to go vote. I'd like everybody to know what they're voting for. And this whole movement is awe-inspiring to some that watch people speak and come out in the media in New York, in Chicago, in Seattle, and Portland when the mayor comes out and walks with the people. That is what we want to see. We want to see awareness from our politicians.
Okay, where would you like to see the movement go?
Well, for one, I don't want to see it stop. I think the most interesting part about this, the most amazing part about this entire movement is that it is bringing people out that normally wouldn't stand out in these parks together, normally wouldn't stand and sleep out in front of buildings together, to have these conversations on a daily basis of how they truly feel, if it's what's being fed to them. And we say fed to them because we don't feel like we have a grasp on our decisions anymore. They say vote for your politicians. Well, they got in office, and none of our politicians did anything for us in August. We watched all of them sit on their hands and kick the can down the road and then take a month-long welcome vacation. You know, we're here to, if anything else, to say that that's not right. And we want political and economic accountability. And so where I want to see this end, or where I want to see this go, would be to see somebody put their foot down. Whether it be the president, come up with committees, whether it be Congress step down, there needs to be some sort of reform. A major reform, and that's where this has to go. And that reform has to continue to happen and to continue better, and that's what a democracy is. We continue to improve for the citizens of our country, and that's what I would like to see.
Okay, and okay, let me see how this works.
Where do I miss
Well, for those who may have seen Occupy protesters painted as just far left, disconnected from the common American, what would you say for people that paint the protesters as just left-wing?
Far left, homeless hippies, sleeping in a park. We sleep in the parks. I believe that's part of the solidarity. We show that we can work together as a community. We can grow and build from what New York started, 2,000 people, to being 40,000 people all speaking the same voice. I'd say that when people tell us that we all don't know why we're out here, we also all don't know why we go and vote for a certain individual. Okay, we only know what we see throughout the media. We don't have these conversations publicly. It's been told that you don't necessarily talk about it. If you say you're a Democrat, the Republican stops listening to you. There is no conversation left and right. There's no conversation left and right between you and me. There's no conversation left and right between our politicians that stand on Capitol Hill together. So I think my statement to them would be, is that we all have jobs. We all know what it feels like to work. And I say all, I'm wrong. We all did have jobs, some of us, because our unemployment rate is 9.1%. I say to those who say that it's our fault, that you're not working hard enough for us. And that, to the individual I'm really speaking to, that you should never be the president of the United States. It is not our fault that we don't have jobs. Some of us have 2 jobs to put food on the table for our family because that's what it takes. Now with raising costs everywhere, from your education costs, your health care, we can't afford that for our wages to stay the same. The average American wage to stay the same and or decline. I would say that that's the message that these working or out of work people have to say. And people have to know that it's mixed. People have to know that some people, as myself, have a very good job. And we do make it. But we're aware of what's going on around us. What we have against the 1% is the disconnect. When you can speak to an individual like that and tell them that it's their fault they don't have a job, when you call yourself a job creator and you cut 30,000 jobs and your profits are higher than they've ever been, that's where we have the disconnect.
And also, there's been a lot of comparison and contrast with the Tea Party movement with Wall Street. And where do you stand on the whole that this is the left's version of the Tea Party movement?
I love that question. The Tea Party, if we put this in perspective, and when they first came out back in 08, 09, I at first couldn't tell whether they were against Obama or calling themselves the Tea Party against the bailouts, which is originally where they came from, which makes sense because, we're not getting represented. Tea Party, okay, American Revolution. But at this point, the 99% that doesn't feel like they're represented, couldn't you call us the Tea Party? So there's a lot of comparisons to where they started, but then they did get co-opted and taken over by a lot of large money. And now they run the right side of our Congress, which is the majority of our Congress. And so the fact that some people that stood up for what seemed to be possibly a good cause, their message was obviously a little diluted for where they ended up. So I would say that the reason we're not being co-opted, the reason we're not letting any politicians necessarily take over, the reason that we want to keep our own voices for as long as possible is so we actually represent that 99%. So we actually fight to get our voices heard with the tax money that we do pay. Now, some might say that we don't pay our taxes because we're homeless hippies. Well, I pay my taxes, I'm not a homeless hippie, okay? So are half the people out here, so are probably 80% of the people out here. 90, okay? We're not, how many jobless people can you really have in this group? That's the comparison that I would like to make to the Tea Party, that at this point I believe they went fake. If they really stood for what they said they did, they'd be out here with us, and we wouldn't have the left and the right talk right now.
Okay, and finally, the recurring theme of this whole movement is solidarity. What does the word solidarity mean to you?
The word solidarity means to me that we have awoken a little bit to realize that we are all just alike. We may have stronger feelings towards environmental issues for some. We may have been kicked and beaten down by the economy, others. Some of us may have had these things happen to us in the past or happen to a family member. I think solidarity means that the people that first decided to speak out, the groups that stood out here and they went and hit the streets for the first couple of weeks, and people that couldn't make it to New York started up in their own cities. And I think going back to starting from the ground up and spreading awareness is that we, the 99% of the American population, stand together. I mean, we want that democracy to step into our politics. We want democracy to happen. And the word solidarity means that the decisions should be made for us. And we have to embrace each other and understand and not have that disconnect that the 1% has with the 99%. So by using the word solidarity and truly living the word solidarity and coming together in these little communities, even if it's bigger on the weekends and smaller during the week, we know what we're doing and we're supporting each other.
Thank you. And can I get your name?
Oh, wait. I stopped it.
Oh,
Sorry.
Started it?
Can I get your name?
My name's Eric Farrenpool.
How do you spell yours?
My name's Eric with a C. Last name's F-A-H-R-E-N-T-H-O-L-D. Okay, thank you. Definitely. Hey, y'all enjoy that in Frisco, and feel free to come up and join. How far away is Frisco? I'm sorry.
It's near Dallas.
Near Dallas.
It's all the way up. There's like.
How's everything going in Dallas? Have y'all been out to Dallas?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
We heard about.